I sat on the edge of the bed and watched my boyfriend, Mark, stare at his phone for the 10th time that night, while he gave me a vague, non-committal answer about why he had been 3 hours late for our anniversary dinner. I had spent the entire evening sitting alone at a candlelit table, watching the waiters give me pitying looks while the food got cold and the wine went flat. When he finally walked through the door, he didn't apologize or offer a real explanation. He just said he got caught up at the office and that I was making a big deal out of nothing. I felt a cold, hollow sensation in my gut as I realized that the man I had lived with for 4 years was looking right through me as if I were a stranger. Mark had always been a bit evasive about his schedule, but I had always attributed it to his high-stress job as a corporate consultant. I had trusted him implicitly, never questioning his late nights or his frequent business trips, because I believed that a relationship was built on a foundation of mutual respect. But as I watched him now, refusing to meet my eyes and shifting the conversation back to how tired he was, I realized that his silence wasn't a sign of stress. It was a wall he was building to hide the truth. I felt a surge of adrenaline that made my hands shake, a realization that I didn't even know who he was anymore. If you were at the office, why did your coworker Sarah call me an hour ago to ask if you were okay because you never showed up for the afternoon meeting? I asked, my voice sounding flat and dangerous in the quiet bedroom. Mark froze for a split second, his thumb hovering over his phone screen, before he let out a frustrated sigh and told me that Sarah was a gossip who didn't know what she was talking about. He actually tried to turn the blame on me, saying that my constant questioning was the reason he didn't want to come home in the first place. I felt a wave of heat climb up my neck as I realized he was using gaslighting as a weapon to protect his own deception. I didn't argue with him and I didn't yell. I just walked over to his dresser and picked up his keys and his wallet, setting them on the nightstand between us. I'm not asking you to tell me a story, Mark. I'm telling you that if you can't be honest with me about where you were tonight, then you need to find somewhere else to sleep, I said. He looked at me with a look of pure, unadulterated shock, as if he couldn't believe I was finally standing my ground after years of being the flexible partner. He tried to start another elaborate explanation about a surprise he was planning, but I just pointed toward the door and waited for him to realize I wasn't moving. He eventually gathered his things and left, shouting about how I was going to regret being so paranoid and that I was throwing away a good thing over a misunderstanding. I locked the door behind him and sat on the floor, feeling a strange mix of grief and absolute relief that the guessing game was finally over. I found out a week later from a mutual friend that he had been seeing someone else for months and was planning to leave me as soon as he secured a new apartment. He hadn't been dodging my questions to protect my feelings. He had been dodging them to buy himself more time to exit the relationship on his own terms. I learned that a partner who refuses to give you a straight answer is usually giving you the most honest answer of all, that they don't value your peace of mind. I spent the next few months reclaiming my life and my space, and I've never felt more empowered than I do now that I'm not waiting for someone else to tell me the truth. I'm doing great, and I've realized that being alone is 1,000 times better than being with someone who makes you feel lonely every single day.